do want to address, there has been a lot of conversation on my site, on the web, about people thinking that the Eastern Orthodox Church is a false religion. I've got comments that it's witchcraft, paganism. I've got so many different comments. People are very angry over it. It seems like there is a group of people out there who actually believe and are teaching these heretics who were part of your faith, but the body, the bishops, never acknowledge it completely. So could you do us a favor? Could you actually talk and let people know who those heretics were?
Okay.
Origen, Arius, who else is some of the heretics,
Sure.
And make sure that the people who are trying to condemn Eastern Orthodoxy by these heretics, that you could say, hey, those are just heretics. Those are people in error.
Okay.
We didn't follow those. But I see a lot of Protestants using that information, which I don't think is a good thing.
Yeah, in church history, there have been people that have arisen who, out of arrogance and pride, think they know better than the Church of God, and they create heresies, false teachings. But they're not content with believing it themselves. They want followers.
They do. Yeah.
And they try to draw the sheep after them. And so there have been a number of them throughout church history. You mentioned Origen.
Yeah. Who was Origen?
He was a ecclesiastical writer of the 2nd century. He wrote immense works on holy scriptures, but he erred too far toward allegorism,
Which is
just spiritualizing the Bible too much, and coming up with interpretations that are just from his imagination.
Okay.
And so, one of the things that he came up with is the idea of the pre-existence of souls.
Oh. That sounds familiar.
That souls were created first and they enter into a body later. And the church condemned that as a heresy.
So the LDS Church obviously believes that.
Yeah.
And so is that where they got that idea, you think, from?
Joseph Smith could have read Origen. I don't know.
Okay.
But it's possible.
All right.
He also taught that everyone will eventually be saved. Universalism.
Okay.
So the church can condemn that also.
Oh, okay. So how long was that going on in the Orthodox Church, and how much did he have a big sizable group following him, or it was just like maybe a tenth of a percent of the entire body?
A lot of people were aware of his writings because, like I said, he wrote immense bodies of writings on the scriptures, and so he was very well known.
Was he excommunicated? What happened to him?
He was condemned, I believe, at the Fifth Ecumenical Council.
Okay.
The idea of paradise and hell. I mean, hell having an end and then everyone being saved. The idea of the preexistence of souls was condemned there.
Wow. All right. So he was one. How about Arius?
Arius was a priest of Alexandria who came up with the idea that Christ was created, that there was a time when the Son of God did not exist. Therefore, he taught that Christ was a creature. He was created.
That he was never really God.
He was not fully divine.
Okay.
He was created out of nothing, just like everything else. And so the church completely fought against that. Unfortunately, he won a lot of followers. But the church called a council at Nicaea to combat that heresy.
And a number of the bishops, and I believe how many bishops were there at Nicaea?
325.
Okay. So there are 325, and that was an issue. Was it 318 or 320?
318, but it was in the year 325.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry.
No problems. So the number of bishops, it was more democratic, obviously, and they looked at the truth that Arius was trying to share, and they all came together and they said, "This is false. This is an error."
Let me give you a kind of a mental picture of this council.
Okay.
Here you have the Constantine, the leader of the Roman Empire, calling the council, and he's calling the bishops from all over the world to say once and for all what they believe about Christ.
Yeah, and the priests came too. It wasn't just bishops.
Right. So he wants the bishops to themselves declare what they believe about Christ. Now, these were the same bishops who were tortured, maimed, crippled, tongues cut out, limping to the council because of all the persecution that they had undergone. So they weren't coming to the council to create a new faith. They were coming just to declare what has always been believed, what they were willing to die for. That's what they were there to proclaim.
So it was really a proclamation of their faith.
A lot of people
say this is getting out of hand. We've got to really come together and unify us with our beliefs.
Right, and they were very meticulous. They argued about the exact word to use because they didn't want another heresy springing forth.
There are many people believe on the Council of Nicaea that was the place and the time and the period where there was a falling away, that was an apostasy.
That's what I want to combat.
Why don't you teach that a little bit?
Because, like I said, these men were willing to die for their faith. They were tortured, completely many of them mutilated from the persecutions. They weren't about to confess a false Christ before Constantine. They suffered too much.
Got it.
They were there just to proclaim what they already believed.
And that's where Trinity came, the word Trinity itself.
I think Tertullian was the first one to use the word Trinity.
So that's where you have a lot of other different Christian restorationists that believes that they say that's where the error was and there needed to be a restoration. And because of the word Trinity.
If they didn't fall away in the persecution, they're not going to fall away when Christianity is legal.
Okay. And that's where it became more legalized, you're saying?
Right. He had made Christianity legal.
Oh, okay. And then it just continued to build, and grow. And they were persecuted. Obviously, there was error still going on. What other heretics were out there that you might want to talk about?
There was also the ones who not only fought against Christ, but fought against the Holy Spirit. That's the next council, Council of Constantinople, added the section in the Creed about the Holy Spirit, that he is the Lord and giver of life, who proceeds from the Father, with the Father and the Son is worshipped and glorified. So the church came together not only to confess Christ's divinity, but also the divinity of the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And that's Constantinople. And then the Council of Ephesus was the next council. It was going against a patriarch named Nestorius, who thought that Jesus was a God and a man, that they weren't united as one.
Oh. Okay.
That you can almost refer to Jesus as being two persons, in a sense.
Yeah.
And
there are some churches here in Salt Lake City that believe that too.
They divided the natures too much.
Okay.
Instead of seeing a distinction, they saw a complete division.
Got it.
Between the human and the divine. And for that reason, Nestorius refused to call Mary the mother of God. He would say she's the mother of Christ, or the mother of Jesus,
or the Son of God,
But Nestorius refused to say that Mary was the mother of God, Theotokos in Greek.
Wow.
Because if he said that she was the mother of God, he would be confessing the unity of the natures in one person.
And that came in actually, I believe, the council during that period of time. They came as bishops, even though he was a patriarch. That's a pretty big position in the Eastern Orthodox Church. Yeah. He believed that. So you had the patriarch saying, no, we believe that he is fully man and fully God.
Everyone
right?
is under authority. No matter what your level is in the church, you can be called to task if you teach false teachings.
Okay.
Even if you're the patriarch of Constantinople, like he was.
Interesting.
And so that was in the year 431.
431.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was changed. The bishops got together. They said, nope, we don't agree with this.
We just continued calling her the Mother of God like we'd always called her.
Okay.
Just like Elizabeth said, the Mother of my Lord.
Got it. Yeah, beautiful. Any other ones that you want to share, or any other big heretics?
You also had the opposite heresy, the heresy of Dioscorus, which was that Christ had only one nature, that the human and the divine...
Oh, a spirit, you mean? Just a spiritual nature?
That Jesus was only divine, not fully human.
Got it. I remember that. Yeah, and that was a problem. That didn't last very long, though, did it?
That was the heresy of what they call monophysitism, one nature. And so there are still churches and people who say one nature.
Oh, okay.
But we have always proclaimed that Christ has one person, but he is two natures.
Got it.
Fully human, fully divine.
Got it.
Because he had to become man to save man.